delegation. In the morning, the two delegations were with us. In the afternoon, they came one after the other. We talked about the TGB, but of course it's a very, very preliminary discussion. And more generally, of what each side expects and so on. We also try to see what is happening over the humanitarian issues, in particular about Homs, where negotiations between the United Nations and the Syrian authorities is still ongoing.
وندرك كل يوم إن طرفين يبدو أنهما على استعداد لمواصلة الحديث غير أن
is quite large. We still expect to finish this first session, the first round, on Friday. And on Friday we'll agree on the exact date when we will resume, most probably about after about 1 week. So wish us luck and ask 2 or 3 questions.
Thank you. Reuters, Stephanie.
Mr. Brahimi, Stephanie Nebahay, Reuters. Can you tell us what you expect?
Yeah, it's on?
Yep.
Yeah, go ahead.
Can you tell us, sir, please, what you hope to achieve in terms of before your break on Friday? What would be a meaningful result by Friday? And also what you will be sending the delegations home to consult and think about before they come back in a week or 2?
You know, to be blunt, I do not expect that we will achieve anything substantive. I am very happy that we are still talking, that the ice is breaking slowly, but it is breaking, and that we will separate on Friday and discuss what we will do when we resume. And I hope that the second session will be more structured and hopefully more productive than the first session. I did not expect, so I'm not disappointed because I did not expect any result this first time. This is exactly what I thought we would do, is just talk to one another and also agree that we will continue talking to one another. So this is what we have achieved.
Yes. Maythan.
Maythan Zaidi, Al-Watan, Iraqi newspaper. Mr. Ibrahimi, the discussions between the 2 delegations are not going to last for very long. If there are results that you are going to come up with, do you think that this is going to take us towards a solution of the problem in Syria? Mr. Ibrahimi, yes, indeed. The results that we will be able to achieve will not be commensurate with all the expectations of the Syrian people and the extent of the crisis. But those people in Syria and those people here for 3 years have not met once. They have not sat together, not even once. And so they do not expect that there would be a magic wand that would enable us to resolve everything. There are 1,000 miles to cross, and if we take the first step, this will be very good.
Mr. Brahimi, you mentioned that the gap between the two delegations is big. And we know that today we had technical consultations here between the Russians and the Americans. At which measure do you think it's possible to use these external powers and maybe to put the level higher of the influence? Thank you.
I am in touch with the Russians, with the Americans, and with others. I hope that they will use their influence with the party. No, I'm sure they are. I'm sure that they will use them better in the future.
Kamal?
Kamal Alwani, Al Hurra Television. Mr. Brahimi, I would like to put to you a question on the content and the nature of those pressures that we have heard a lot about in the media today. What is the content of those pressures? And the second thing, even though the discussions today on the transitional governing body are preliminary, still, we would like to know what would the government side will have accepted and what will it have rejected. There is no smoke. We are not going to negotiate with you, says Mr. Brahimi. It is enough for us that we are engaged in negotiations with Syria. As for the Americans and the Russians, the Americans have got good relations with the opposition, the Russians with the government, and Russia and the United States today have good relations between themselves. So they are all talking to one another, and they're utilizing their capacity to convince, which is better than my own capacity to convince, in order to facilitate the discussions undergoing in room 16. Isabel.
Isabel Saco with Spanish News Agency. Mr. Brahimi, given the differences between the parties in the sense of how they would like to prioritize to discuss in what order they would like to discuss the points of Geneva communique, don't you think that the format of having working groups for the next round would be useful?
Thank you for your suggestion. We'll keep it in mind. Thanks.
Thank you. So this is the last question, Hannah.
Thank you. Mr. Ibrahimi, you said your summer satellite, Hana al-Saleh. So you said that you do not expect that something significant will be achieved. To what extent then is the United Nations and the mediation, to what extent are they neutral in finding this solution? And please don't tell me this is a loaded question. Yes, it is a loaded question, says Mr. Brahimi. Do you doubt? It was just a question. Yes, we are neutral. We are perfectly neutral in this. We are with the people of Syria 100%, with our hearts and with our souls, and we are trying to call upon those Syrian parties to narrow the differences and to come closer and to take into account the interests of the Syrian people. Thank you, sir.